News 8 meteorologist Michelle Podell is joining us now to answer one of your questions in her Ask Michelle segment. What do you have this week?
Well, to start off, I want to start with a video to kind of show you what we're talking about today. Does this look familiar
Wasn't
to
that
you?
cool?
Yeah. So last week, the big talk all across the nation, lake effect snow just plummeting parts of western New York. Now this video from the Buffalo area, and this is just a time-lapse video of that lake effect snow coming on shore.
Wow.
So just crazy video. So that is what our question is today. It comes from Patty via Facebook, and she wants to know what causes lake effect snow. Well, Patty, we're going to tell you. Now it forms in the winter when a cold air mass moves over warmer lake waters, and as that cold air travels over the warmer water, that lake water heats up the bottom of that layer of air, then that moisture from the lake evaporates into the air. Now since warm air is lighter and less dense than the cold air, it rises and begins to cool. This causes that lake moisture to condense, and this will form clouds. And after this process repeats itself several times, the clouds become weighed down and the snow starts to fall. Now generally this happens from November to February, but it is the most intense in late fall, early winter. So during this time, that's because the temperature difference between the air and the water is the greatest. And this lake effect snow really can happen until a lake freezes, if it does freeze at all. Now, one important factor with respect to how intense the lake effect snow will be is what is called the fetch. The fetch is the distance the cold air has to travel over that warm water, and the longer the fetch, that enables the more warm air and the moisture to get picked up by the cold, more warm water, I should say, to be picked up by that colder air. And this typically will result in a stronger lake effect snow band. But the placement of that band really depends on which direction the wind is coming from. Now, generally, the minimum fetch for flurries is about 80 kilometers. A minimum fetch for a more significant snow is about 160 kilometers. And as you can have seen in many pictures, this lake effect snow, some of these events can bring over 3 feet of snow because a band of lake effect snow can just hover over one location for several hours, several days, as we saw in some of these cases here in western New York. And some of these narrow bands can contain thunder snow and also snow rates of 5 inches an hour. Some of these spots picked up over 80 inches of snow in just a couple of days.
It's just such an interesting thing when you watch that video that you played there at the beginning to think that people that were just outside of that, you know, got very little snow, and then the people that were underneath that lake effect snow there have feet and feet to deal with. So
like 10 to 15 miles outside of that, they didn't see anything.
Nothing. So
it's crazy.
Well, that's a great question. And if you have a question that you'd like to ask Michelle,
well, you can find me on Facebook like Patty did. You can post our the question to our News 8 This Morning page, Storm Team 8 Weather page, or you can find my page, WKBT Michelle Podell. I'm also on Twitter at News 8 Michelle. Post it there.